Let's do number 3 as well. That's a good question. So how would we start approaching this question here? What would you do first?
Do x plus 6 to the third and simplify that out.
Oh, you're saying start here?
Yeah.
Okay. I can see why you'd want to do that. Well, we're going to have to sort some other things out even once we've completed that, right? What would be your next move after that? So let's say that we have
Probably to subtract 3 over.
we have all that stuff worked out, right? Let's just assume that it'd be x cubed something something something, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you said you would subtract the 3?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. So if we subtract 3, that gives me 16 on the right-hand side. And then I'm just going to leave this as x plus 6 cubed for right now. So, and it's okay if we're kind of like trudging through some of this stuff because it's the summer and like we don't have a due date or anything. That's what this kind of time is for, right? So, what would we do next? You said,
would you put all that to the power of 5 or?
you're close. And I know you want to make that go away. But there's one thing we should do first. We should probably, anytime we want to raise something to a power, we want to make sure, if possible, that term is isolated. Because if it's not, then what we end up with is a polynomial to the power 5. And remember from your homework last week, like 3x minus 2 to the power 5, that's a tremendous amount of work, right?
Yeah.
It's an absolutely tremendous amount of work. So what we'd rather do instead is get some statement that's to an exponent, and then we can probably, as long as it's isolated, we can probably just undo that really easily. So coming back here, the only thing that is really attached to this is this 2 coefficient out front, right?
Yeah.
And I drew these parentheses in because there's multiplication between the 2 and between this term here, right?
Yeah.
So one thing we could do is to get rid of this 2. And again, if we have to raise something to the power 5, we know that number is going to get huge. So I would much rather have not a 16 on the right-hand side when we go to raise it to power 5, right? Or just
Okay, yeah.
what I'm trying to coach at you is kind of some like, make these questions are all designed to be answered in like 3.5 minutes, kind of sort of, right? So let's kind of avoid things that take longer than that, right? Certainly that part of the question in and of itself would take more than a couple minutes. So certainly along with everything else that we have to do, I want your brain to start seeing that as like, okay, that's a trap. That's what they want me to do, right? What's the best thing to do? It's got to be something else, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to coach at you here a little bit. So if we divide that out by 2, the 2's are obviously going to cancel here, and then we'll end up with an 8 on the right-hand side, right?
Yeah.
So 5th root of x plus 6 cubed equals 8. Like you just said, we could either raise each side because this is really to the power 1/5, right? When you see that root there, it means it's to the power. It's not raising it all to the power 5. So if we were to raise 8 to the power 1/5, that would undo all of this other stuff, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what 8 to the 1/5 is. It's going to be some weird number. And then we'd have a x plus 6 to the cube, or to the power 3 on the left-hand side, and then we'd have to figure out some of that stuff, right? But I want to show you something here that can really help. So when we have a term in the bottom to a power, so if we have x in here, and we have that as the a root of x to the power b, then we could rewrite that as x to the power over root. X to the b over a power. And the reason why I want to stress that...
to the power 1/5?
Similar, yeah, but so this is to the power 3 here, right? If we think of x plus 6, that's our term that's being raised to the exponent. So we could rewrite this as x plus 6 to the power over the root, and we can get rid of that radical statement.
Oh, okay.
So now we haven't changed anything on the left-hand side, so we're going to carry down the 8. All right? So then now this is why I was really kind of pushing against like multiplying out x plus 6 cubed, because like that's a good amount of work, and then it would basically be useless at this point at the next thing. So that's again trying to coach like, all right, these are the traps, this is what you actually want to do. It's a shortcut, right? Or it's not a shortcut. It's the only way we're going to complete this question in a reasonable amount of time. So we've got x plus 6 to the power 3/5, right? That's weird. And then we've got 8 over here to the power 1. And we're trying to calculate x. So we need to get rid of, I would say the next step, and you can agree or disagree here with me, but I think we need to get rid of this. This is a problem. Right? Yeah?
Yeah.
We need to get rid of that, the power 3/5. So the way we do that is we multiply by the reciprocal power, or we raise each side, rather, to the reciprocal power. So if our left-hand side is the power 3/5, then we'd want to flip that upside down, and we'd want to raise... Yeah, exactly. What that's going to do for us on the left-hand side is basically x plus 6 to the 3/5 all to the 5/3. This is going to cancel out, because remember how we multiply between here? Like to figure that out?
Yeah.
Like if we have x squared to the power 3, it's x to the 6th, right?
Yeah.
We multiply those powers when it's exponentiated on top of itself, right? So 3/5 times its reciprocal, just by the definition, gives us what number?
1.
1, yeah. So that's why we're going to get x plus 6 to the power 1 on the left-hand side.
Okay.
Remember, because all this stuff was equal to 8. And we were really just trying to get rid of whatever exponent situation was going on up here. So we've got 8 to the 5/3 on the right-hand side. 8 to the 5/3. Right, and we're going to handle that in a second. But right now we've got something really pretty on the left-hand side relative to where we start, because we've got just a regular statement, x plus 6 to the 1. I don't even have to write to the 1, right?
Yeah.
I can just write x plus 6 equals 8 to the power 5/3. Whatever that is. And then what can I do to get x by itself?
Just subtract 6.
Subtract 6. Very good. I want you to take note, at no point here did we do any kind of weird, long, drawn-out polynomial multiplication, nor did we figure out what 8 to the power 5/3 is, but we have arrived at an answer of 8 to the 5/3 minus 6. And that is our answer. Now, we avoided a few traps here. I feel like it was definitely a trap to put this cubic polynomial here, right?
Yeah.
And then let's skip back ahead as well. It was also, I think, a trap to try to get us to do something with the exponents to the number on the right-hand side, such that we ended up carrying through the problem some kind of weird number. But none of that was the case, and all we had to really remember was a little handful of things here. Like this was very helpful. All right, so we're avoiding traps. We're avoiding things that take a long, long time